given the option, with Florida State and Clemson coming to the conference, the Big 12 goes to 18, to bring 2, 4, 6. I can only assume those won't be the only 2 in expansion. We usually see these move in 4s. Mm-hmm. Washington State, Oregon State, Miami, Louisville, Virginia Tech. What is the most reasonable option here for the Big 12 to go out and get? And that's where I'll start. Do you toss the first life raft to Washington State and Oregon State?
No.
Oh,
no. I could do without the Pac-2 schools. I just, there is a reason they were left behind. I know we're supposed to be sympathetic as Big 12 people, right, but they really don't. They don't bring you anything. They don't bring you any market. They don't bring you any recruiting, and they don't really bring you any sustained success in revenue sports. So I'm nixing those 2 right away. The other one that I will controversially nix, but I just can't talk myself into it.
By the way, before everybody just checks out here, Washington State had better viewership than any of the schools that the Big 12 added from the Pac-12. Just want to throw that out there. I mean, it's like a viewership hotbed. It doesn't. I know. It doesn't make a ton of sense. I wouldn't have guessed that. When they got left out, people were like, "Well, they have the flag at College Game Day, so they've got a pretty good brand."
That's true. Like, it's probably British Columbia's favorite team.
But then I'm looking here, and it's like, they beat this guy and that guy. I think Manitoba's more central, right? I think Manitoba's a little more.
Saskatchewan, Manitoba. Yeah, Winnipeg is on the other side, which is in Manitoba, is on the other side of Saskatchewan. So I think Saskatchewan would be next.
Yep, much more central. And that shocked me.
Alberta than Saskatchewan. Yeah.
Blew me away. Then Oregon State's good at football. So those 2 things bode well for the conference. And if it's from a viability purpose, if Fox tomorrow says, hey, add those guys, then you're going to do it. But if those 2 are off the table for you, the Pac-2, where do you go? You go east.
All right. Well, I got to nix one more. Here. Then this is potentially controversial. I can't get behind Miami. I get why.
What?
They're obviously more of a market than those 2 schools that we talked about in the Pacific Northwest. I don't know about the viewership, but more of a market. Great for recruiting, right? Awesome. But you've already got a foothold in Florida. In this scenario, you've got Florida State.
With a much more passionate fan base, by the way. Fan base what? UCF. UCF is above Miami.
Yes. Because that's my point. Miami, I don't think they could give they just don't. They don't care, man. They play in a pro stadium. People don't show up. It's just like Miami pro sports teams. They don't really care. It's pretty transient, and they haven't been Miami in 20 years now. They've had an odd Final Four in basketball, so I'll give them that. But it just does not move the needle for me, Drake.
So, question, front row. Mm-hmm. If Miami is added to the Big Ten or the SEC, how long until they just become Illinois? How long until they're just Iowa? Where you're like,
Iowa's still good. I mean,
they exist here, but I don't really know if they're doing too much to further the conference.
Yeah, they're Illinois, they're Minnesota, they're Maryland.
Minnesota. Yes.
They're just there. They are one of the teams.
Catastrophic move, too. Like, we're going to add Maryland. You'll all see. What?
Dude, I think the Big Ten, if they could right now, would just get rid of Maryland and Rutgers. Just like, you know what? We don't really need New York, D.C. Like, we've kind of got it covered. Anyway, so I'm not taking Miami either. I am going to stick with a team that is not a part of this ACC discussion.
Boise State. Do it.
They are on a better trajectory than Miami.
You just glitched out. We missed the commitment. The camera cut right before the commitment. Yeah, what was your team?
Okay. Nebraska. Oh. I am taking Nebraska.
It's not how now. I said realistic. This is against the rules.
They're going a better direction than either of those Pac-2 and Miami and a lot of the ACC. I'm buying into Matt Rule again. So I love that. I love their alumni base, NIL collectives. They got a lot of money coming in.
Why would they leave the right
direction in basketball? Because they can compete in this conference. That's what you tell them. You say you can be here. You can compete. You've got your geographic rivals here. Iowa notwithstanding, but Iowa State and Colorado are here. Come join us. I say Nebraska as my first one. I'm going to get even crazier for the second one.
I'll
stay your Nebraska piece.
Point.
Yeah.
For your Nebraska point. There have been murmurs that because they don't have this AAU status, that the Big Ten is unhappy, and they would flip them out and then grab A&M or something. A&M to the Big Ten was a big talk. So if that happens, Nebraska would come to the Big 12 onward.
Okay, my other one's even crazier.
East Carolina, do it.
Close. Ooh. But look, I mean, even as we divulge potentially into 3 major conferences, that has become the biggest deal in college football, right? NIL, transfer portal, and a conference realignment. I think the Big 12 has been a great landing spot for a lot of schools in a lot of different geographic locations. They have pulled teams from, the Pac-12, the Big East back in the day. They pulled teams from the AAC. They've even pulled an independent there, which I think has been a great landing spot for BYU. And there is some good Christian flair, or I should say church flair, to the Big 12 with Baylor and potentially TCU, depending on how you look at it, BYU. And so we're mixed across the country. So I think the Big 12 has got God and country already. So why not put Notre Dame in there too? Come on.
I thought you were going for Liberty. That's you. That setup was like, he's going to say Liberty. He's going to say Liberty on this show.
No,
I had to make the point too that at some point somebody's going to take Liberty. It's inevitable if that happens.
Where are they? What are they in, by the way? That would have been crazier than Notre Dame.
The A10 maybe? Yeah, I think Notre Dame is for money. I would love to add Notre Dame for money.
Notre Dame, they've got to do something at some point, man. Obviously, the Big Ten makes the most sense. They should have been in the Big Ten 50 years ago.
Who knew that describing
come on, man, Big 12.
Billing innuendos to describe a school could get you to Notre Dame or Liberty real quick.
That's great, man. Talk about the rise of Liberty. Ian McCaw.
Massive school, ton of huge alumni base, a national brand.
Notre Dame ain't that far off, man.
Liberty played in a New Year's Six Bowl last year, I think, right?
Yeah.
Oregon, they got slammed by Oregon. That's Dan Lanning.
And a winning record against Baylor.
I went to a concert recently and met a pretty lady in the pit who is a club soccer player at East Carolina. So if we added them,
I knew some people from my high school went to East Carolina. High school outside of Boston, so they went there to have a good time.
Pretty ladies?
Yeah, actually. Can you believe it?
Huh. Crazy how those exist. You forget
ECU
sometimes.
and Coastal was a good landing spot for some of the good-looking young co-eds from Rockland, Massachusetts.
Go in there and get an education. More than anything, just to have that ECU diploma hanging on the wall. Coastal Carolina,
Coastal.
Chance up.
Yep, I feel a pulse there. There you go. You're good.
Yep, you're in. Check. Count it. You got a 33 on your ACT. You don't want to come here.
Yeah. Are you sure? Have you looked at all your options?
Liberty's a great
Wake
spot.
Forest, just up the road.
They're smart. Where can people find more of your stuff?
Unfortunately, there is more of my stuff out there. Twitter at RealCamStewart had a great England joke on Sunday. Just putting that out there. Also, The Cam Show on Instagram and YouTube, which is both at The Cam Show Show. Through Rogue Media Sports Network. We're talking a lot of sports and then some stuff that isn't sports. So we have a good time.
Subscribe so that I can keep my job, please. This has been, it always will be, Locked On kind of Baylor. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Dose Grande.